Welcome again, Pisces. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. It's July 2016. I have your horoscope here and I see a stacked fifth house along with a new moon occurring on the 5th of the month in that area. Mercury, Sun and Venus, very powerful combination there, indicating along with that new moon that the opportunity for you to either renovate your existing relationships or to commence some new relationships is very much indicated by this. Now, apart from those amorous feelings, this is the most creative sector of the horoscope, and for you it could be time to really step that up and to do what it is you've wanted to do for a long time in terms of your creative aptitude. We see also the moon in the third house as the month commences in the sign of Taurus, activated by the opposite sign with Mars there. Now that can really stimulate your emotions. You have to be careful in the way you communicate to others, especially if you're wanting your own space, your own time, but others are demanding you meet your responsibilities to their particular timeline and schedule. Now that can cause some problems, so you have to be careful of that. But I do see that after the 5th, you are going to have that free time, that availability to do what it is you want to do. And that's important to you because right now you've still got that lingering transit of Saturn in your 10th house. That's bogging things down. You've also got Mars in the 9th house, just ready to move forward again. And that's going to strongly impact on your professional life next month when it moves into that area. We'll talk about that in August, but you need to brace yourself. And if you've got that window of opportunity now to really create and, to give some time to a hobby or activity that you haven't had enough time to do, it's good to do it now because you're probably going to get very, very busy in your professional activities in the next couple of months. Just as I mentioned that, that 5th house of creativity, we do have to make note of the fact that there is a precursor to that August professional upswing that I've mentioned by Mercury and Venus moving into your 6th house of workplace activities as well. That's the environment that you work in. So there could be some preparatory activities going on there, maybe not as full on as what I've mentioned for the next month, but that will happen on the 12th and the 14th respectively, when Venus enters the 6th house first, with Mercury then entering afterwards. This also has some sort of play on or influence on your debts and the way you're managing credit cards and home loans and that sort of thing. So you need to pay some attention to that. And yes, you need to give due attention to those missing hours of hobbies and creativity. But if you're avoiding this part of your life, that's going to cause some serious problems for you down the track. And this can show not only looking at past debt, but maybe even creating more debt. So you have to be careful to curtail that. And this, to me, because there's a very strong relationship between these planets as July starts and Neptune, which is your ruler, transiting through your sun sign, and still having something to do with your sense of identity. Now, could it be that you are erroneously thinking that by spending more on accoutrements and fashion and things, that you're somehow going to impact on other people's impression of you? You need to rethink that, because this is all about who you are as a person, not how you adorn yourself. Because at the end of the day, once you stack up those bills and those additional expenses, I don't know whether that is actually going to make all that much of an indent on the way other people perceive you. And speaking of that, Jupiter in the North Node in your 7th house is important. We've talked about relationships, but this is also about karmic relationships and the fact that there is something there right now that requires attention. If you're married, there could be stuff that's in the closet, stuff that's been bothering you about your partner, stuff that you need to ask them about. They're all the hidden secrets. Maybe there's not enough openness going on in your relationship at this point in time, and that needs to be addressed, especially because we see those planets have been in a very powerful right angle to Saturn, which is your 12th ruler. That also has to do with the past. skeletons in the closet. That's past, but I don't know whether it's been completely resolved, Pisces. So you need to look at that as part of the plan for July, August, September, if we're forward planning here, which is what astrology is all about. And I think by turning a blind eye to that, you're still going to be dragging that emotional baggage into the future. So it's imperative that you sort that out now, apart from the fact that if you want to have a really, really good time in those creative moments that you're trying to set aside time for now, you're not really going to be in a peaceful state of mind if all of that stuff's still hanging around. Let me look at a few of the other important transits here towards the end of the month. We see Uranus in your second house of finances really creating some unexpected or sort of confusing states financially, and it's going to get more intense when it moves into its retrograde motion on the 30th. That's followed, as I said, by Mercury moving into the 8th house of, the 7th house of relationships. So that could be tied in because those transits are happening so close together, with managing your finances with your partner, maybe being abstracted and spending money on these things that you feel you have every right to spend on, but your partner not feeling exactly the same way. So once again, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's important to step that up so that you clear the way to have a nice, peaceful frame of mind as the month of July completes. Join me again next month. In the meantime, don't forget, stop off at astrology.com.au for the more detailed analysis of the month of July, daily readings, of course, and you can get that in context of the remaining year for 2016. Till next month, take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.